Alright, hello everybody, another Photoshop video. This time around I'm going to show you how to remove somebody from an image. One of my buddies had someone in this picture that he didn't want in there anymore, so he asked me to take it out. I did, and the result came out pretty good. So I just thought maybe I'd show you guys some techniques on how to do that. It also, it's going to depend on the image that you're working with and what the background looks like. This one's not too crazy because there's a pattern background that kind of blends well together. When I cut it up and paste it around and mask it. So it's kind of an easy image to work with. There's a little bit of trickiness to this, like this back molding here. Basically, I'm going to be taking this person out here, so I have to kind of recreate that molding and fill in some of the carpet and try and color match all this stuff together. So I figured I'd just let this thing record and let you see how I did it, and maybe you could learn a couple things. So first thing I'm going to do is unlock my background, and I want to, like I said, remove this person here. So I'm going to start by maybe making a copy or a cut of this pattern here and kind of just placing it over her and maybe blending it out. So let's grab my marquee selection tool, and I don't want this dark shadow over here so much, so I'm going to start maybe here and just copy a section of it like that and go to edit, copy, and then edit paste, and it's going to put it on its new layer, which is what I want it to do. Grab my selection tool here and bring this down right above her head like that. This is going to, you know what, here, let's try and do this. Let's mess this line up a little bit here. Got this kind of want to make that look the same. And here's what we can do. We can drag it all the way down to the molding like that. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty lined up. Actually, you know what? Little change here. Let's cover her hair. Right, like that. Now you can see obviously it's some different colors and there's a big harsh line here, and that's not going to make any sense. So maybe what we could do is add first a layer mask to this, and we're going to grab my brush tool, and I'm going to raise the size up with my bracket keys. You can just do it that way, or you can manually go up to here and change it. But key feature is to make sure that the hardness is all the way down. We want it as soft as possible, and to start out we can go with a big brush like this, and we want to make sure that our color is on black so that we're erasing the mask, and we're just going to start blending it. Now you see how this line gets faded out. You don't have that harsh line anymore. That's exactly what we're trying to go for. And we're going to end up, I think we might end up moving this mask up a little bit. Or moving this this box up a little bit, I should say. Yeah, like that. We can always go back and add another one. And go back up to my mask. Grab my brush again. To start again fading it out. Okay. And we'll go back to white, maybe lower the brush size a little bit to bring some of this mask back. And get it right there. And her head is now officially gone. Now we're going to do something I think similar. We're going to what I just did before. We're going to do edit paste again. Get another one of these guys here. Like so, except I think I might go to free transform and flip this thing vertically. See how that looks. Yeah, that's better. I want to get this bracket out of here. It's kind of good right there, and I'm going to go and do a layer merge down. Let's hit preserve and see what happens. Nope, that didn't work. Let's do it again. Layer merge down. I might just have to redo the mask again. That's alright. Hit apply. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to remask it. That's okay, though. That works for what I want. Grab my brush again. Make it big. Make sure it's on black. You can hit the X key if you want. That'll do that for you. Okay, like so. And just start painting out. And we're going to have to bring some of this mask back. I'm just trying to get the general area taken care of. So I'm going to hit X on my keyboard and switch back to black. You can see she's popping through again here, so we need to bring that back in. And obviously we don't want that wallpaper on his head, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, like that. And I'm going to grab my brush again. And switching back and forth a lot between black and the white paint color so that I can erase and bring back if I need to. See, I'm getting this soft line. That can be changed if I change my brush hardness. If I make it a little harder, that's going to take care of this big soft area here when I need it to be a little bit hard. Like so. We're going to raise up the hardness to maybe about 55%. Lower my brush size. Keep it like that. And now you can see I can get tighter to an edge and it doesn't look as soft. We can actually go below this little molding line here because I'm going to cover it up actually with a piece of molding, so it doesn't matter if I'm below. Kind of just want to get in the right general area. And I need to erase obviously this piece on his head. I need his hair to still be coming through. Okay, now that looks pretty good, right? We got rid of her whole face. Obvious problem that we have is this different color here. It doesn't blend well with this other part of the wallpaper. Well, that can be solved with levels. So we're going to click back on my layer, not the mask. Go to Image, Adjustments, Levels. Grab your little middle button here and start sliding it a little to the left, and voila, it starts pretty much matching what I had here before. Maybe you could see a slight difference, but we can still play around and see if I can get it to look a little better. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Now, if we zoom out, you're probably not even going to be able to notice that by the naked eye. Maybe a tiny bit here, but somebody just looking at this picture for the first time, probably not going to see that. Maybe I'll just go up there again, Image Adjustments, Levels, and see if I can make it look any better from this distance. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Okay. Okay, so the next problem, obviously, we have is this molding here. It needs to go there. So we're going to do the same basic thing that I just did before. We're going to grab a section of molding, we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it over here. So I'm going to go to my background layer, grab my marquee tool, try and get as close to this line here as possible, and we'll go with that kind of selection right there. Edit, copy, and go above my other line here, my other layer, hit edit, paste. If we hold shift and we drag, it's going to keep it straight. I think pretty straight anyway. Okay, like that. And we're going to do an edit, paste again. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see, let's grab my layer here and just do an edit, copy, edit, paste, and we're doing the same thing again. What I'm doing is hitting the command key on my Mac and clicking in here, and that's selecting it. I think it's control on Windows, but you can go to edit, copy again, edit, paste, shift, drag, and I think we are good right there. What I may do is actually drag this a little. I'm going to overlap this a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other ones. You should overlap your last line. And we're going to do this one again a little farther over. Something like that. Now, okay, this molding, if you look closely, this line here, not running perfectly straight. It's kind of tilting down, so this is something we want to take into account. So I'm going to grab my second layer here, And I'm going to use my arrow key and just kind of see if I can move this down a little bit, like so. Actually, I think I'm going to do the same thing with the top layer. I mean the first layer. Move that down a little bit there. And we'll try the same thing with the fourth layer up here, third layer on this, I should say. Something like that. And we're going to go to layer, merge down. And do the same thing again, layer, merge down. Now we have one layer, we're going to create a mask. Grab a brush tool. And start erasing this out. Oh, that's actually not what I wanted to do. Okay, let's step backwards. 3 times. 4 times. A bunch of times. Okay, now we got all the layers back. We need to mask these individually. So I'm going to mask that, mask that, mask that. Start my first one here. And erase again on his head, because it doesn't need to be there. And his shoulder. And switch back. And now you may need to make your brush smaller so you can get these tight areas. Like so. And switch back and forth, just erasing out. Okay, now I'm going to work my way into the second mask. And this is why I overlapped it, so I could erase this line out of here. It's kind of what I wanted to do. Kind of make it blend together a little better. And we're going to erase a little bit of this bottom here. And we'll go back to the first layer mask and erase this little piece of the rug here, which I could probably leave. It really wouldn't matter, but sometimes with Photoshop I just get a little carried away. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing again with this third layer. Now, I just thought of something as I was doing this. I probably could have done this a lot easier with the clone stamp tool. Clicked here and just grabbed the selection here, altered it, and then just brushed over these lines. That would have worked too. I just went the long way, I guess. So I'm going to grab my mask again and paint out this part. And obviously paint off of his face here. We don't need this. Yeah, like that, the way it was, I guess. Go back to my second layer here. Erase out this line if I can. Okay, and that is not working for some reason. Let's see something. There we go. Okay, that kind of looks okay, but I'm not 100% happy with that. I may end up using the clone stamp anyway after I merge these together. But let's see if there's anything else I could do to make this look any better. Again, I'm just switching back and forth between my masks to try and clean this up. Yeah, I guess we're going to leave it like that, I think. Kind of happy, I guess. Okay, so now I'm going to do, I'm going to grab these three, shift, I just shifted and selected them all, and then go to Layer, Merge, Layers, and voila. Now, again, I'm going to do the level thing because I want to try and match the color to this here. So Image, Adjustments, Levels, middle button here, arrow, whatever you want to call it, kind of lighten this up a little bit. There we go, that's kind of looking more similar to that. And we're going to grab the clone stamp tool anyway, because I still kind of see some lines here, which I'm not liking. So I'm going to shrink this down a little bit, hit Alt, click on this spot there. Kind of just get rid of those if I can. Like so. Yep, something like that I guess looks pretty good. And now I think the final thing that we're going to do is just the rug. I believe I did this kind of an odd way the first time around. It might be the only way to do it. So let's just try and see what we can come up with here. So I'm going to grab my lasso tool. And I want to take the biggest section of the rug because I need to cover kind of a big area here. So I'm going to try and grab this part here all the way up until this line in the floor. Something like that. Edit copy. Okay, not going to work because I'm not on my background layer. So go to the background layer, go to edit copy. And edit paste. And again, it's going to paste on its own layer, which I'm going to drag to the top of the group here. Grab my arrow tool. Drag it over, and I think I'm going to just have to put this in a bunch of times, like I did kind of with this here. Yeah, I think that's probably the only way to do it. So I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to drag my layer down here to this little button. It's going to copy it. Just going to start overlapping them. Same thing, just a bunch of times so this whole area is covered. May want to move that up a little bit. I think the same thing with that. And again, we're going to drag it down and copy it over. And one more time. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is just one of the ways I figured out how to do it. So again, I'm going to mask these stupid things. Create a mask. Start erasing out obvious spots that I don't need, like this whole bottom half. So I'm going to make that brush really big. Get rid of his rug on his shoulder. And now lower the brush so I can get tighter. I think that's pretty good right there for that one. Go down to my next layer, create a mask, make my brush big, erase out the crap I don't need, and you can see it revealed on my from my previous layer, the mask that I didn't erase. So I'm going to go back up to it, and you can get rid of that. And go back to my new mask. Okay, interesting. Why is the mask not erasing over here? There we go. That's what I wanted. Put a little bit of that back. Oops. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Now I'll go back to my second layer here and start adding it back here because I do want it to cover this area. And let's make sure I got the rest of this off. which I did. Go down to my next layer, create a mask, erase all this crap here. And start adding it back where I need it. The good thing about this black shirt actually is you could make little mistakes and it's not going to be noticeable. I can get on it and nobody's going to see the difference. Especially when I'm zoomed out. This is zoomed in, so any little imperfection you may catch, but once I'm out, you probably won't see it. I'm just trying to clean up the molding. You don't want the rug to overlap the molding. I may have to do that a little bit more over there towards the end. Go down to my next layer, create a mask, make my brush size bigger, erase the bottom. Okay, now you can see where I missed part of the mask here. Oops, on this other layer, so I'm going to erase that out of there. I'm going to add it back in right there, just up to his shoulder. Go back down to my new mask I just created. Start erasing. Oops. Say start adding back in. Just flipping through my masks here to try and get this. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Just try and get this to look right. I meant to click on my mask. There we go. Not liking the edge line up here, but some stuff we can correct as we go. Alright, so we're going back down to my masks here, and oops. I'm going to end up clone stamping this area again. I can see that. And we're going to create another mask. I think this is our last one. We are going to get rid of this. And obviously his face doesn't need to be masked. Okay, so now we can add some back where it needs to be added after we shrink the brush. Just want to try and get as close to the edges as possible so you don't see any colored blue back there. And now I'm just going to start working my way through these masks to try and clean up this line. Wrong color. I need this to be as straight as possible. Okay. Let's go all the way up here and get rid of this little guy. Not liking this part here. Alright, so now we're going to merge all these layers, I think, again. So we're going to select the top one, shift select the bottom one, layer merge. And I'm going to clone stamp a little bit of this line out of here that we can still see. Just clicking Alt, dragging. And we're going to color match it more towards this color here, I think. So we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, Slide this little bar over a little bit. Brighten up that rug. Kind of matches that color better. Hit OK. And I think I'm going to go back to this here, and I'm going to try and get this straighter. It's getting a little hard though. Hit Alt on that, and I think I'm going to make the hardness all the way 100%. I'm going to try and hold Shift. See if that works. Oh, you know what? Undo that. It has to be on top. Ooh, you know what? That might even just make it look better like that. That simple solution of just dragging that on top, I think, did the trick. Let me just see something here if I can get this. There we go. Okay, let's undo that. Let's hit Shift. If you hit Shift, it draws a straight line. Okay, I think that looks pretty much better. That's what I was going for. So, if I zoom out, I may just leave it like this. If I go back to 100%, I'd say that looks pretty good. You can't. You know what I want to do? Hang on. Let's go back to 200%. I did notice this before on his shirt. He's got a little blue sticking out in there. You got a little blue sticking here. So I'm just going to grab my clone tool again. Go back to my bottom layer. Just going to Alt on his shirt. Clone a gray area. Kind of patch that up a little bit so you don't see that blue. Same thing with the black here. Even though you probably can't see it from far away, I know it's there. So I'm trying to just clean that up. And that is just about it, I believe. Go back to 100%. So now if we hid every one of these layers here, you have this woman in the picture. You put them back on, and she's gone. And now somebody just looking at this picture for the first time probably couldn't tell that she was there. I think the background blends pretty well. This pattern made it kind of easy because it's kind of an old pattern, faded. You can't really tell what's going on back there, so it was a little bit easy to take her out of there. This may be a little trickier depending on what you got going on in the background. But just some techniques that I used to do it, so I hope it helped you learn something, and see you next time.